Hello, everyone. I'm once again coming to you for what is, for me, lunch, but for you, should be around dinner time. And yeah, I still miss you, and I'm still here, and you're still there, and so we will get back together as soon as the state tells us it's cool, and it's safe, because safety is what's most important. But I once again have a taco bowl. I often make taco bowls because I like spicy food, and I meal prep every week. It's been my way of doing this whole thing, continuing to have some sort of normalcy, and also allowing me to get kind of the nutrients that I need. I go to the grocery store once a week, and pick up some greens and veggies and like brown rice, quinoa, that sort of thing. And this is a turkey taco bowl for protein. So anyway. I've also got my water, staying hydrated, as you should be also out there. But anyhow, I'm continuing this little series in way of kind of staying together and continuing to do our Lenten series. So what we've been talking about is the ways that the church year relates to our lives. Last week, I think it was a little too real. And we talked about Lent, and Lent is a season when we give stuff up. And this Lent, needless to say, has been on the extreme side, as we've all given up so much that we really enjoy and that we miss. And then the last time we were actually together for Wednesday night supper, we talked about Epiphany and how the season of Epiphany that we celebrate in the church year is about Jesus being revealed as the light of the world, as kind of the days get longer and light returns to us in the northern hemisphere. We think about how people started to realize kind of who Jesus was, and we talked about times in our own lives when we get sudden clarity about something. And then the week before that, we talked about Advent, and how Advent is a season of waiting that we observe in the church, and we wait to celebrate Christmas, and how Advent in our own lives is kind of a season when we're waiting for something that we're excited about. Lent, of course, brings us to Easter. And Easter is what we would have talked about tonight if we were all together. And it's what I'm going to talk about for a little while here. Easter is my favorite season of the whole church year. It's a 50-day festival, which is really important for this year, as we're going to have to celebrate Easter differently this year. Remember that Easter is 50 days. And so with any luck, maybe life will be a little bit more normal by the end of that 50 days. And we'll be able to have a big Easter party however we can. But remember that Easter is 50 days, not one. So not only is Easter Sunday not canceled, we'll just celebrate it differently, but Easter cannot be canceled because it is 50 days long. So we have some time. And Easter is a feast, a festival that lasts 50 days. We get 40 days of fasting during Lent, giving stuff up. And then on Easter, we get 50 days of just living it up and celebrating. And here in New England, it's some of the most beautiful parts of the spring are during those 50 days of Easter. And what I love about living in New England that wasn't true when I was in the South. In the South, kind of spring is pretty much already happening by the time Easter rolls around. Like spring kind of happens during Lent down south. But here, when we get to Easter, usually spring is just starting to happen. And then throughout that 50 days, the landscape sort of comes to life. So that by the time we get to Pentecost, which means 50th day, the end of Easter, the world just looks totally transformed and new and full of life. And so Easter is when for 50 days, I just celebrate. I admit I eat a little extra dessert during those 50 days. I just find little ways of celebrating, and I kind of let myself have more little pleasures during the 50 days of Easter than I normally do in any other day. So I was thinking about kind of what we would discuss here on Facebook. And at first I thought I would say, what are you really looking forward to doing? But then I realized that that's really similar to the question that I asked you last week, which is what do you miss? And so instead I was thinking about how in the church we believe that every Sunday is a little Easter, because the resurrection is a once and kind of always with us reality. We Lutherans believe that we are always being made new. We are always being brought back to life by God, and that God is always kind of coming to us and making us new over and over. And so I thought for our discussion piece tonight, I would kind of ask you, what little joys are you kind of allowing yourself during this time? And if you haven't kind of intentionally worked, some sort of little pleasure into your life, what could you do to kind of remind yourself that there is joy and there is new life? Even kind of here in Massachusetts, spring is kind of just starting to peek its head out. You can see the daylilies sort of starting to sprout, and that's really cool. A lot of you have told me that you have gotten outside in the past week or so, staying socially distant as appropriate, but also intentionally taking that time to go outside. So one of the things that I've kind of been allowing myself while we've been in this kind of socially distant place is I've done FaceTime happy hours with friends, and that's just been wonderful, where I get on FaceTime on my phone and kind of find a beverage, and they find their beverage wherever they are, and we kind of FaceTime and we have a conversation, and it's just great. And so it's one of my things. Diego and I have also been taking more walks, kind of looking for signs of spring, and so those have been kind of my little celebrations and reminders that life is going on, and that we are going to be okay, even though this is a really scary time in a lot of ways. And so I invite you to kind of hit me in the comments and tell me what little pleasures you're allowing yourself these days to kind of get you through, little ways of celebrating. And I invite you to think of those as just another way that God is coming to you and making you new, and reminding you that you're not alone. So what little celebrations do you have, or are you intentionally making part of your day, part of your week? Hit me in the comments and let me know how are you finding little ways of celebrating what we do have here in the midst of so much loss. I love you all. I miss you. I'm praying for you. Hold on. And of course, Diego had to make a cameo. Diego says hello. And so do I. And we'll see you all soon. And let me know in the comments how you're finding little ways to celebrate these days. Celebrate what you do have. And we'll see you soon. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Stay healthy. Hydrate. Get some exercise. And if you want to talk to somebody, call them. Have a little FaceTime happy hour with a friend. And I'll see you soon. Be well, friends.